allow us to kick off this meeting. I think we have enough time. We need enough time for this conversation. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon from wherever you're tuning in from. It is such an honor to have you tonight. And personally, I am very, very excited and looking forward to this conversation. And also excited that you could find time to join us. We do not take it for granted. So thank you for choosing Get It Right to the Tara Solutions as an option for your Tuesday evening. And it's such an interesting session we have tonight. But before we get there, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Grace Nzula. I'm an HR consultant with Atara Solutions. Atara Solutions is a HR consulting and training company, and we offer what we call HR manager outsource for organizations that do not need a full-time HR person. We offer HR consultancy. This is where you have job evaluations, salary surveys, HR audits, where we review your policies and update them, among other opportunities for HR. So that is what we do. And then we offer recruitment and selection. If you're looking to fill certain positions, please get in touch with us and we should be able to support you in that. And then, of course, we would like, or rather, we do learning and development where Get It Right falls under. But we customize trainings for you, and we also do our what do we call it? External trainings where we gather people from different organizations to come and sit together and we achieve something together. So at this point in time, allow me to give a shout out to our partners before I can get us going on and asking Richard to introduce himself. So and just get to know who are supporting us in making sure that we get this ball rolling every Tuesday. So we have Nilefront Cottages. If you're looking for a cottage to visit or an amazing place to go, then you need to visit Nilefront Cottages. Cottages located in Jinja in Uganda. Jinja is about 2 hours away from the Busia border, and it's about 1.5 hours drive from Kampala. You need to visit this place. It is so amazing, and it is near where Lake Victoria meets a river Nile. So it is just an amazing place, very beautiful and very beautiful scenic views. And you know, Jinja, you have quite a number of waterfalls in Jinja, actually. There are quite a number of things to do there, and it is an amazing place to be at. And then we have Profiles International. Are you looking to become a genius emotional intelligence coach? Are you looking to offer psychometric assessments for your organization? And are you looking to learn and keep growing on your emotional intelligence journey? Then Profiles International will be able to be your partner on that. And then we have AR Insurance for all your insurance needs. We have Hotel Sapphire. If you're in Mombasa and you are looking for a conference venue, or you're looking for a place to just go spend your evening, then you need to visit Hotel Sapphire. They have such amazing food and such an amazing staff, and also an opportunity. Their conference halls are just beautiful. You need to visit Hotel Sapphire to get to appreciate what they do. And then we have Tufaha Resort. Tufaha Resort is where we hosted our annual road trip, and it was so amazing. Now, Tufaha Resort is a luxury resort located in Nanyuki. If you're looking for a place to take your vacation, solocation, whatever, or you're looking to go swimming, their swimming pool is actually hot. It's heated. So you can go and enjoy, regardless of the weather. You can go and enjoy time swimming, enjoying the serenity of Tufaha Resort, and you can spend the night there and get to enjoy their amazing accommodation. And then we have Panessa Training Institute. Are you looking to become an expert in woodworking, or just get to learn and appreciate wood? Then Panessa Training Institute will be able to support you on that. We have Port Sacco. Are you looking to join a Sacco? Are you looking to work with the Sacco, or a place where you can post your savings? Then Port Sacco will be the people. And then we have Sotet Kinyumbani. Sotet Kinyumbani is a restaurant located in Nanyuki. If you're passing through, going, staying in, or just going there for the weekend, then you need to make sure that your meals are coming from Sotet Kinyumbani. If you're staying at a B&B and you're looking for deliveries, then Sotet Kinyumbani also offer delivery services. And then, of course, we have K2 HR services. K2 HR services are our partners in Kigali, Rwanda. Are you looking for HR services in Kigali? Are you looking for training in Kigali or the entire of Africa? Then K2 HR services does that. And then we have Steadfast Quality Solutions. Steadfast Quality Solutions is a HR and public relations company located in Kampala, Uganda. If you're looking for board recruitment, if you're looking to do board evaluations, or you're looking to have training for your board members, then Steadfast Quality Solutions are your go-to people. And it is headed by my good friend, Herbert Zake. Herbert Zake is a Gallup strengths coach. If you're looking for a coach to work with and navigate this journey of life with, then Herbert Zake should be able to support you on that. And then, of course, allow me to invite you to the Growth Grid Mentorship Program. This is a mentorship program we run at Atara Solutions, and we are gearing up for Cohort 2, which kicks off on the 2nd of July. Now, this is a mentorship program that takes place for 8 weeks. And then within this 8 weeks, we meet weekly from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. on Wednesdays. And then from there, we make it as practical as possible. And then when you join us, you get 4 CPD points for IHRM members. And it is what we are discussing are, among others, HR audits and HR budgeting, HR reporting, performance management, and how do you set up a HR department. So if you're a HR professional looking to transition into HRM roles, or you're just looking for a place where we can support you in growing in the role of HR, then please sign up for the Growth Grid Mentorship Program. Cohort 2 kicks off on 2nd of July. And then allow me to invite you to the Africa Transformation Leadership Conference. This conference will be taking place from the 6th to 8th of August in Nairobi at Sarova Pan-Afric here in Nairobi. And it is going to be an opportunity for you to engage with different stakeholders and leaders to get to just learn how can we transform our organizations and as a ripple effect the entire Africa. We are inviting you for this amazing transformational conference that will be happening from the 6th to 8th of August. And please join one, come all. This is an opportunity of a lifetime, and it is coming right in Nairobi on our doorstep. I know we have different people from different countries, but please make time and come join us from the 6th to 8th of August here in Nairobi. All right, so enough of the intro about our partners. Allow me to invite Richard to just introduce himself. Richard is my co-host, and he's also running something he's gonna let you know about shortly. Richard.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, Grace Nzula, the moderator of choice. How are you doing? Catherine Shidandi, how are you doing? The people who have carved time to be here so that we can learn. Our presenter, good evening. My name is Richard J. Magoma. What do I do besides human resource? I train people on how to prepare for interviews so that you can have an edge. I also train people in public speaking so that when you give those presentations, you do not give them while shaking. Yes, I am from July. I'm doing something. I'm having a particular cohort and the amount is 21,000. But if you are a regular attendee, in getting it right, you will get a discount of 4,000 shillings. So it is 21,000 minus 4,000 shillings. That is, I think, a very good deal for those people who make their time. You deserve that discount. Over to you, Grace, so that we can have our presenter tell us how we hide those hearts. Yes, over to you, Grace.
Sorry, Thank you, Richard. I'm very excited about the conversation we are about to have because this hey, when I sent out the conversation about father wounds last week, I have never seen people go on defense mode like that. And I think we really, really need to continue having that conversation, regardless of how. And I remember quite a number of people on our call who are going like, do we have mother wounds? Now that we are discussing father wounds, do we have mother wounds? And then the other conversation was, now that we are talking about father wounds, can we now discuss about mother wounds? You know, there was a lot of conversation around it. And a lot of people thought that it was an attack on fathers, and that was not the truth. And you should actually go and listen to that conversation, because father wounds and mother wounds traumatize your children. And I know our speaker tonight is going to help us unpack these things. And it's my honor and privilege to bring to us, hey, Simon, where have you disappeared to now? Okay, oh yeah, he's there. Okay. So our sign language interpreter will be joining us. She's running late. She went somewhere, but she will be joining us shortly. But we have with us tonight and a man who needs no introduction. But I will not be doing justice if I do not let you know that he's also my friend, and that is very important. He's my friend, and he does an amazing job when it comes to supporting the boy child, so to speak. And I know he has run a program called Mother to Sons, and as well as quite a lot. I mean, a lot of people know you for Man Enough. And for those who are joining us from Uganda, from Kigali, and other parts of the world, if you're a man and you have not brought Man Enough to your congregation, you need to do that very fast. Because it's an amazing program. And Simon is a leadership enthusiast. Do I call you an enthusiast? He's really into leadership. He loves speaking and guiding on leadership. But quite a number of work he has done on the boy child, from men to boys. And we are honored to have you tonight, Simon. He is a lawyer. Let me say that he is a lawyer, so he reads too much. But yeah, and he's doing his research on gender. Can you imagine gender? Anyway, Simon, I can talk about you forever, and I know you have quite some amazing things for us tonight. So take it away.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Grace and Terra Solutions, and all of you that are here tonight. I'm particularly excited to have this conversation. Now, this is a deep conversation, so we're not going to even be able to cover everything, but it's a beginning of a conversation. I really love what Grace and the team you're doing in bringing us all together. I've been to a few of the meetings that you organize, and just a great work that this platform and the resultant meetings gets to do. So excited to be here. I just want to say I am passionate about parenting as well. And I want to share my screen and just say a few things about what I do as I lead us in a few conversations here. Yeah, so allow me to put this into full screen like that. And now we can be able to, is it there? So the unspoken hurt, the silence on the mother wound. I'm going to touch a little bit on the father wound as well as we get into the mother wound. I don't know why it's taking a little longer. Okay, it's there, right?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Okay, and I see Richie also nodding. So the unspoken hurt of the unspoken hurt. We get silent about parental wounds, but especially the mother wound. And this is going to be a conversation. I love talking about mothers. As Grace said, I've written a book on mothers of sons, and we have trained mothers about their sons for a long time. I've also written something on intentional mom and intentional dad. And last year, Grace, I don't know that you know that I wrote a book about my own mother, who is now 90 years, and celebrated her and just said, these are the 10 things I learned from my mother. My father
That
died
one
when
I
I
was
was
at
8
your
years
launch.
old. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. You know, once you're after 40, you have some senior moments, they say.
I hear you.
Well, you forget some things, eh? Anyway,
Yes.
so wrote about the 10 things I learned from my mother and how that has impacted me. So I'm glad that we can have this conversation. So with an organization called Transform Nations, and we run different programs. We create some programs for the men in the corporates, men's wellness programs. We create and then train and get resource people to come in and speak to the men, especially. But also on gender intelligence, and those are some of the programs we do as well. And you can find us on all socials. You will see some of the things we get to do. So let's get right into it. Of course, talking about father wounds or mother wounds, it's not dishonor to our parents. Just being real. We honor them. We celebrate them, good, bad, not good. Whatever relationship we have had with our parents, we celebrate and honor them. When I was in Sunday school, I used to be taught that the first commandment with a promise is honor your father and mother. And I think honoring, we do honor them. But we've got to be real about what has happened and not happened, and how that affects us and how that could affect our children. Whether they're departed or present, we celebrate them a lot. Yeah, a few observations just to lay the foundation. Number one, between fathers and mothers. For fathers, as I've done a research and written about fatherhood for the last 15 years, I've come to realize that a lot of the people, in fact, one research in Kenya showed 72% of the people confess to either of these three, either unfathered, without a father, whom they know or have a relationship with, or maybe the father passed on, or underfathered, very little of fatherhood, but they didn't have enough of that. Or misfathered, just a father who did not do well, either hurts them in one way or another, and the relationship wasn't good. So unfathered, underfathered, misfathered tends to be a lot of the people. That was 72% when we did that about 8 years ago in a survey in Kenya. And resultantly, or consequently, there's a huge father hunger around us. And I went through that. So I'll not get much into that because that was a conversation last week. The father problem is first cultural, just culturally because of the way we are brought up and how we are socialized. We don't get to relate as easily and as deeply with our children as the mothers do. I remember once taking some fathers to an event with their sons, and then I told them, okay, 1 hour, go with your son and here are some conversation points. Talk for 1 hour, don't get back here, and then come back after 1 hour and tell me how your conversation went. Even with conversation guides. 15 minutes later, Richie, some of them came back. And said, we are done. We didn't know what else to say. But culturally, just we don't get to connect or talk much with, as fathers with our children. Generational as well. If our daddies were distant and they were not connected, then we're going to pass it on. It's going to be more difficult to do that. And then socially, somehow, I've come to learn fathers or men are very shoulder to shoulder, so they communicate more when they are working, not when they're staring at each other's face. Face to face. Ladies tend to be more face to face, men more shoulder to shoulder. And then fathers tend to focus more on work than to focus on home or relationships. That's changing right now, especially with some of us who are here. But that used to be the tendency. Now, on to motherhood. Mothers on the other side, they tend to be more present. A study that we did some while ago showed 9 minutes fathers tended to be with their children a day on average. 32 minutes mothers with their children a day, which is almost 4 times more. 4 times more than the dads did. So mothers tend to be more present, more intimate due to natural, cultural, and social reasons. And I'm sure you fully understand that. Also, mothers used to be more available. A lot more available. Well, that used to be. Right now, they're still way more available, but times have changed a lot. Times have changed a lot because both of us then are going to work morning to evening, and we tend not to be as available. But when we get back home, the moms tend to engage a lot more with children than the fathers. That's, I think, a fair observation. And then mothers are generally more celebrated and cared for compared to fathers. And generally, it's because then the relationship is a little deeper. Someone was telling me that an older man in the 60s, that the children get to call home, but then they talk to mom like for 30 minutes. And then when they are concluding, they say, "Can I say hi to dad just for a minute?" And then they conclude the conversation. Of course, he wasn't feeling good about it, but part of it is he did not invest a lot in that relationship earlier in life. Anyway, whatever the case, those are some of the issues. Mom, just because of the cultural, natural, and many other reasons, they tend to be a lot more intimate and very connected with the children. That means when that relationship goes south, then of course the hurt is way deeper sometimes because of that. Or it could be a lot more complicated. It may not be deeper, but it may be a bit complicated. Here's the power of parents, and this now will introduce us to the mother wound. Last week, there was a conversation about the father wound, and dads tend to give us socially and psychologically identity. I am Simon Bevy, and Bevy is really my dad, and that gives me quite a measure of identity. They tend to affirm and inspire purpose. Again, I could talk until cows come home about fatherhood. I'm passionate about it. But I've had many conversations about it that you can find on YouTube. Fathers tend to give us a sense of security from outside aggression. My dad, I don't know you guys, but my dad used to have a weapon under the bed, and that just made me feel secure. One day, an opportunity invited itself for him to use it. He didn't use it, and I got to know grown men also get afraid sometimes. But we felt secure around him. Dads, they tend to call out the boy the man in a boy and the woman in a girl, and I've been privileged to do that for my own children. Dads tend to model what masculinity looks like to the watching girls and to the watching boys. And then also dads give a cover of authority in the home. All right, now, aside from that, let's look at mom, because then this is what will introduce the kind of wounds that we have from mom. So moms tend to lay a foundation for attachment and relationships. Many years ago, I had two psychologists whom I respect very much say this out of a research, that the patterns of attachment that we have come from mom. Why? Mom was the first person we ever deeply related with. From the womb to the breast, to the skin-to-skin contact, all those attachments. It begins with mom very closely. And if we trusted mom, and if we had a good relationship with mom, we tend to expect the same of our relationships later in life. And so I know in the counseling room, many times when people are struggling with intimacy and attachment issues, one of the first questions I tend to ask them, tell me a little bit about your mom. And a lot of times, not all the times, of course, a lot of times there's a connection there. So lay a foundation of attachment and relationships. Number two, they teach us the foundational skills like language, life skills. Mom is here telling us. I remember my kids when they are learning how to speak, I would ask their mom, what are they even saying? And mom seemed to know. For some, intuitively, she would know what the kid is saying. I had no idea. The boy was saying nyaha, and I couldn't know what nyaha. All the languages I know, there's nothing like nyaha. And the mom would know that means water. And I'm wondering, how do you even know? there's just a connection there. And then they teach us of mother tongue and life skills, those early life skills. Moms do that. So that brings just such a deep connection. And then, of course, they model and teach emotional management. Which some psychologists call containment of emotions. They help us know how to contain our emotions, especially between 5 all the way to 8, 9. Some people call it the lover stage. Children feel very strongly. That's when they tend to say, I hate you. No, I love you. Never speak to me. And then 2 minutes later, they are speaking to you. And they just need mom, especially she does it perfectly, to teach them. Now you're just angry. That's okay. Don't roll down on the floor. This is what you do. And the mom is teaching the young one how to contain the emotions, not just for now, but for life and for the future. So they play a great role in this. Dads try, but because we're not as much in touch with our emotions, moms just do it way better in this way. And then moms tend to model, of course, what femininity looks like to the boy who is watching and to the girl who is becoming that eventually. And lastly, moms tend to facilitate separateness. Because they have this strong bond. Motherhood is a journey of separation, from weaning them from breastfeeding to releasing them later during preteen, not hugging them all the time, and then later in adulting. Motherhood is really a process of release, right from the womb all the way to when they leave your home. So that separation releases children to become their own people and to become adults as well, release. I'm sure we're still together. Now, let me get down to what I'm talking about. So mother wound happens when this doesn't go down well. When these roles of mom and these very basic roles or foundations they lay, when that doesn't go well, then a wound shows up. And I like just to say this and then get now to the details. Wounds are like hurts. Disappointments. You expected this from mom, you didn't get it, or you got this and you didn't want it. So disappointments, jabs that you get, unmet expectations. I expected mom to fight for me, she didn't. Deficiencies, things you should have had that you never got, that would have sustained you in the journey of life. When those things happen, then you get wounded, you get hurt. They leave us crushed, scarred, scared, raw, sensitive, and behaving certain manners to protect ourselves. And I like what Dr. Steve there says in The Wounded Warrior. List these levels of woundedness. Scratch. This one stings, but it will not sideline you. It's not going to kill you. But you know that it's hurt you. You've been scratched. It's left a mark on you. And then there's a scar that reminds you of a long past battle. Mom left me when I was this age. I was talking to a gentleman the other day who had a very deep mother wound. I was saying, mom left me when I was 2 years old, and the next time I was introduced to her, I was 17. And he was saying, where was mom? I don't even call her mom anymore. I call her by my name. Where was she? All that time I was brought up by my grandmother. She was just busy trying to do her own career. And he's really wounded and he's going through some healing currently. But he had a scar. He was saying, every time I remember 2 years old to 17, I feel scared. It reminds me of abandonment from mom. Then there's the scar which covers a fresh injury that is in the process of healing. It happened 2 years ago, 1 year ago. This is what mom did, and I'm still feeling it, but it's not too raw. And then there's the soul. What is soul? Is tender, is raw, is sharp, is shooting pain, because it happened last week, or it keeps happening every week, and so you're feeling it on and on. All right. So these wounds hit us at different levels. And they would hit us because of several reasons. And Grace, there's a talk I usually give about mom factor that may be like a 2-session talk that gets into a little bit of depth. Here I'll touch it in the next slide, but Maybe at another time we'll have a series and talk about it. And every time I've talked about it, people say, wow. I mean, the first time I read it, it's based on a book that I read, and the others gave me permission to teach around it. But when I read it, I said, what? I didn't even know. I mean, I've thought about these things. I didn't see some ways that my mother wounds had affected me. Now, remember, we're not here to point fingers and blame our moms and dads and say we don't, we are who we are because of that. Well, once you get to 18, you are who you are because of your choices. You're an adult at that point. You own yourself. Responsibility means you own who you are and you own your own issues. But it only means we are trying to understand how who we are was affected by where we came from. So that we take responsibility and deal with it. So we are not shifting responsibility. No, we're just understanding ourselves well so that we take more informed responsibility, right? Okay, so parental wounds usually happen around absence, like mom wasn't there because of death, or they deserted us, or there was divorce and separation and remarriage, and we feel like they never really came through for us. They didn't fight for us, they were not involved with us, and that kind of hurts very deeply because of absence. I mean, it's interesting when parents die, when children are young, they see it as desertion. My father died when I was 8 years old, and for a long time I blamed him for dying when I needed him, until, of course, I resolved it. But the little boy in me thought, I need you, Dad. Why do you just die? And it was in an accident. He didn't choose it, of course. But to the boy, it's like a betrayal of desertion. But that happened. I don't understand it. I just know Dad left me. So that can hurt very deeply, and especially for mom, who in those early years, we are so deeply connected. And when they leave, it feels like, the hurt is just being torn apart, and we are being separated from our mom in that way. And so when we're handling divorce and separation and remarriage, then we need to be really careful how we handle the issues with the children, because then it could cause very deep wounds. The other day, I was talking to a child of someone who is going through divorce. The child was 7 years old, and he told me, why does mom, I mean, they're grappling with very difficult things that they can't understand. Why does mom just allow dad to go? Doesn't she love me enough to know that I need my dad? I mean, the child was asking things too lofty for himself, but he's grappling with these things. He's asking questions. Why is mom being so mean by pushing dad away? Of course, the kid did not fully understand, so I had to try and explain. But children can go through quite a bit around there. And then, of course, there's the abusive, emotional, verbal, physical, sexual. When that has happened, and unfortunately that gets to happen, then, of course, it leaves deep wounds with the children. Then there's passivity. Mom is there, but not involved, very distant, not really involved. And my wife struggled with this at some point because they just didn't really have a good relationship with mom. It wasn't deep. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't deep. And later she began to ask, why is it that there's just no connection here? What are the issues here? And she was struggling with it, and she had to go through just a process of healing and dealing with that. But mom was there, but not very involved. Dad was very involved, but mom wasn't involved for her. And of course, that then at some point she was saying, is it because I'm not good enough that mom doesn't want to get involved with me? And as a child, you get to ask very difficult questions and blame yourself for things you should never blame yourself for. So passivity is another way that we get so hurt and wounded. That mom is there but not involved, or dad is there but not really getting involved. Then we have the trophy or perfectionist, performance-oriented moms or dads. But we're talking about moms here today. And it's when mom just says, you're only my child if you get it right. Why can't you do this? Why don't you do this? Why do you come number 3 in class? Why do you get a D? You should get an A. And mom is just pushing for perfectionism, for grades, for this and the other. And the child begins to feel like, you only love me for what I do. You only love me for my production. my performance, not for who I am. And children, when they grow up in such atmosphere, they get hurt. They feel like love is conditional, and they begin to do the same to others, to give it in conditional forms. And they just don't feel appreciated for who they are. They feel like they're just machines of production. If you don't produce, hard luck. You don't get much of love and acceptance. So those are the trophy moms who can then hurt children very deeply. And sometimes unknowingly. Sometimes they just feel like they're motivating their children to do well. I remember my elder sister, who was like a mother figure because of a difference of age. You know, she's number 2, I am number 8, and there's like a lot of years in between us. And so she was a mother to me in many ways. And she kept telling me, why can't you do this? Why can't you be like your brothers? Why can't you be like your elder brother? Why can't you be like your sister? And I just grew up feeling not good enough. And it affected me into adulthood. Even into my legal practice until I dealt with it. But I always compared myself with others, because then she'd always say, be like your brother, do things like, perform like your brother. And I just felt like I'm only as good as when I beat or perform at par with my competitors, with others. And when I don't, then so I never really appreciated my value for a long time. And especially when I felt another one defeated me or did better than me, then I'll always beat myself because of that trophy kind of atmosphere. You're only as good as the trophy you bring home. And then parents behaving badly, like when during they're addicted, they get drunk and make a mess of things, or they keep failing in one way or another, and then children just feel ashamed and they grow with shame and they don't want to associate with their parents because of that. Those are some of the ways, general ways we can get hurt by our moms, and especially moms. Culturally, unfortunately, we tend to to be easy on fathers. He's just a drunk. Oh, he's just. But then mom, how could mom do this? It's just a cultural thing, which is not right. We just have double standards, but it's there. It's a reality that we can't wish away. That we just tend to judge moms way harshly in comparison to dads. All right. I know time is racing, so this is what I was saying. We need an entire 2 seasons, two Rivers Grace to do this, because I talk about these 6 kind of moms and how they affect us. And it opens our eyes. One is a detached mom that has not given us that feeling of attachment, that depth, that intimacy, and it gets to affect us in many ways. You find because we were detached with mom, we didn't relate very deeply with mom, and I've seen it over and over and over again as I've worked with people, men and women. That relationally, then you tend to be very shallow. You don't want to get deep because you may get hurt because you never related deeply with mom. That tends to happen. Or over valuation of relationship. I was dealing with a case like that 3 weeks ago. Where this person values relationships so much. Even when it's abusive, she doesn't want to leave it. She feels, when I leave it, will I get another one? And then, as we talked, I just realized that mom wasn't very available. So she's very, very hungry for attachment. And when she gets one, she doesn't want to let it go. And she needed to deal with that so that it doesn't then cause her to remain in wrong relationships. So that detached mom, I've just gone in deep there to show you an example, but we can't do all of this. And then there is, of course, the functions. You tend to avoid risk a lot. You don't want to risk because things may go wrong. You don't want to take criticism well or get to solve problems. You feel estranged from your own self and talents because of that detachment. You don't feel like there's a family there. And then I've talked about some ways that we can begin to deal with that. As I said, I don't want to rush you through this. I just wanted you to see that there are different kind of moms. And when I read this book, I realized this captures it so well. The detached mom, and then the fragile mom. You know, those kind of moms that you walk, you don't tell them everything because, who knows what she's going to do. And so even when you have bad news, you're trying to wonder, so how do we tell her? You're walking on eggshells around her. Those are the fragile moms. And then they did, of course, because of their fragility themselves, they did not then soothe you well or validate you when you talked about your feelings. They did not do containment of your emotions very well. And then you have challenges as well, handling your emotions. Structuring your emotions, confronting your emotions, thinking well through your emotions, and processing, because you were not helped in those early years to do it. But of course, we can learn these things later in life. I'm not saying we are doomed if we had a fragile mom. My mom was a fragile to a certain degree. She's still fragile today. There are some things I still find I have to think through how to tell her. And so I realized at some point I had to work on my own fragility and be able to handle things and process my emotions. And sometimes fragile moms make us guilty to feel like we're leaving them. Why are you leaving me? What do you think I'm going to do? And in a sense, and they're trying to hold on to you, even when you're an adult. And there's a controlling mom that doesn't want you to have your own identity. They want you to depend on them. The other day, I had an issue like this. There's a lady who brought their husband to for a conversation, and I could see the man never wanted to be there. And she told me, talk to us before I leave this guy. I said, why are you leaving him? Looks like a good guy. I said, no. Yes, like yesterday. So I said, let me give you an example. Yesterday, we were talking about buying a plot, some property. And then we talked and we finished and we were ready to commit. And then my husband tells me, okay, wait a bit. Let me call my mom to see what she thinks about it. And then he picks the phone and calls the mom, and mom says, I don't like the idea. And so he comes back and says, no, my mom doesn't like it. Let's forget about it. And the woman was saying, so is he married to the mother? Oh, how do we do this? We can't do this. Huh? So there's a controlling moms, the ideal and trophy moms. I think we talked about that. Still the boss mom. You're an adult, but mom is still, I remember a lady calling me Grace and telling me, I don't know what to do with my mom because I've been married for 15 years. She still calls me every day and say, what have you cooked for your husband? No, that's not good food. Cook this one. What about your children? Are they warm? And I told her, hey, you've got to call your mom and kiss her goodbye and say, Mom, I'm an adult. Leave me alone. Don't call me every day. Call me once a week and we have a limited conversation. We can't do this. And she did it. And I'm glad because she had never been given permission to grow up. Her mom was running her home 15 years into it. Still the boss mom. I'm still the boss. You can grow up, but I still tell you what to do, not releasing you or preparing you to grow up. And a lot of people who have had a mom like that, they grow, they get to rebel sometimes, and there's hatred, and there's feeling, Mom, just leave me alone. Or, of course, codependency. And then there are some other moms who never leave. They still follow you. They are not controlling you, but they still want you to parent them all through. And they don't realize you have other responsibilities. Anyway, I'm just saying when we have different kinds of moms, and yours, and could be a mixture of several of these, maybe great. But because we are not angels, all of us will have some brokenness of some sort here and there. Even me, I know there's some things I need to deal with, even as a father. But because of these kind of ways that we get parented, then of course we get hurt in one way or another. And those are the things we are talking about that we need to deal with. Well, I know I've said a lot, but let me simplify it. I was just giving you, throwing out the hook there and saying, that training would be good. There's a book written by these two guys, Townsend and and cloud, and that's where that training is based on. It's a little heavy psychologically, but we try and break it down and talk through that. If you find it, you can get it and read it. The Mom Factor, that's the title, The Mom Factor, by Townsend and Cloud. All right, so here are some of the signs when we are struggling with some of these mother wounds. Then you say sometimes it's pain when you think about your mom, or when you get triggered about a certain experience you had with mom or you're still having with mom. Anxiety, sometimes indifference, I just don't want to get involved. Anger, irritability, all of these kind of possible signs that there could be a wound, and it may be a mother wound or another wound. So I'm just saying, especially when we have had some issues with our mom. And many times we tend to have one of these three typical responses: denial, suck it up, man up or woman up, push it away, do life, leave your mother alone. Denial. Then the one is aggressive. You get angry and you fight, and you go for drugs or some other things to try and deal with this, because you're feeling like some energy that needs to come out because of what you feel deep within. Or maybe you just get numb and get passive and become a loner and watch a series. Which series do people watch these days? Maybe K-drama. And things like that, and you just sit back and say, I don't want to get involved, isolate, quiet, stupid things you're doing, and you're really just trying to get away from the pain and not deal with it. So there are different ways that we can react, and we're trying to cope, but these are not good coping mechanisms. So here are a few things that we need to do to cope well as I close. Number one is acknowledge. You know your mom's story, or continuing, or it stopped at some point, or mom is gone. But you know your mom's story. Acknowledge where you've been hurt and where you have negative emotions. Maybe you're angry, or you're scared, or you're this and the other because of your experience. Admit that. Admit the emotions that you experience or you're still experiencing. And open up in a safe place to someone else, or to a shrink, or to a counselor, and just talk through this. And this is what I feel when I think about mom, or when I experience mom over the weekend, or this and that happens. This is what I feel. Just talk through it, process it, acknowledge it. Especially for men who are here, we just need to be able to acknowledge and process these feelings. Women do a better job at processing, pain and emotions than us men. So we just need to be vulnerable, talk through it, of course, in a safe and good environment, or with the right people, talk through it. B is break free from it. We've got to deal with this pain, the attitudes that we have formed because of what we went through with mom, because of a mom wound, and the negative coping mechanisms. We need to let go. And part of letting go is forgiving. And I always say forgiveness is demanding your own freedom. Forgiveness is not a gift to the person who hurt you. Forgiveness is refusing to let the person who hurt you to continue to control you long after the fact. And so you let it go and release it so that you may be free, and not allow the past to determine or cast a long shadow on your present or on your future. Forgive, change your attitude, pick up a better relationship that will help you deal with these issues. Where possible, you can reconcile with mom if she is available and she is willing. You could. Reconciliation is a great thing, but where you can't, for one reason or another, because reconciliation takes two, or maybe she is gone, she's no longer with us, and then you cannot reconcile. But where you can, you can. And of course, dealing with the emotions that you have carried about your mom. Number three, and this is important, is community. Share your story. Healing never happens in isolation. Never, ever. Try it if you will. If you try to heal quietly on your own, It really just never happens. But when then you are in a group, that's why it's always good to have an adult group. A few people that you hang out with, that you talk through things together, that you practice vulnerability and talk about the issues that you're going through. Then healing best happens in community. Now, you might have had a very good mother experience, and then suddenly something happens, and there's a mother wound. And I want to be vulnerable and honest with you guys. My mom has been excellent, but last year, something or 2 years ago, something happened, and she heard some, conflict with my wife, and for the first time, I had to confront her and tell her some things, and we talked through it, and it wasn't easy. Now it's calmed down, and we have talked through it. She's 90, so I waited until 89 for us to have a conflict like that, but I still had to face it. I couldn't put my head in the sand and pretend it's not there. But it's helped that I've had a community of people who have talked to me, and I've talked with them, and we have processed and checked myself and with my wife, and we have had to deal with those issues. So make sure you have some trusted friends that you can talk through this. And especially mother wounds can be very, very emotive, huh? You know what I mean? Very emotive. So process with some people can help you find good perspective, huh? And lastly, of course, depend on God. I have found that there's something about faith that gives us perspective. When things really get hard and we don't know what to do, or we're dealing with pain, and pain can be very unreasonable in the way we deal with it, but we can have perspective about pain and suffering and all of that through faith. So those are the ABCDs I wanted to leave you with, even as we close. Acknowledge the hurt, and don't deny it, and then don't over-identify with it and allow it to destroy you. So acknowledge it and face it. Break free, deal with it, the pain, the attitude, the negative coping mechanisms. Deal with all of that. Sometimes we build walls to protect ourselves, and we've got to pull them down. When we talk about those 6 different kinds of mothers, we talk about how they affect us in different ways, and then how to pull out of it. And of course, community again, never walk alone. The men who are here, whatever team you support in football, even the ladies, never walk alone. Never just walk alone. You always need a company of people to process through whatever it is that you're going through, and especially the mother wound. And depend on God. Wow. That was a marathon, but I think I have just tied you up to think through some things around mom. But if you forget everything, remember the 3 most crucial things mom does, and where we get wounded most about, is number 1, attachment, relationships, intimacy. When that doesn't go well with mom, it can hurt us very deeply in the way we look at people and trust people and intimate with people and attach with people. That can be affected. Number 2, containment. Moms just do that very well, containing our emotions. And moms who are here, help your boys and girls know how to manage emotions, especially between 5 and 10. That's a very crucial time, so that in the future they can manage their emotions, name them, manage them, be self-aware, and deal with them. And then thirdly, release. Moms do a very good job of releasing us at stages, right from winning us. So moms, again, don't hold on to your children for too long. I met a mom some while ago who was still sleeping in the same room with a 12-year-old boy. And I said, no, you've got to let this go. You can't do this. And you're affecting their future, their abilities to release and get into adulthood. And she agreed, but she said, I've never spent even one day away or a weekend away from my child. I'm going to die, or they're going to die. I said, no, they're not going to die. And I forced her to send the child away for 2 weeks, and said that we don't call your mom unless you have to. The mom almost died, but after that, she was very happy. She said, hey, finally, I've released her. I've let go. So release, containment of emotions, and attachment. Those are the 3 greatest gifts moms give us. And when that doesn't go well, then it hurts us also very deeply. Grace, my time is up.
Yes. Simon. You know, every time I listen to you, I'm just like, oh my God, I hear you. And thank you for compressing this. I know we need like a whole day session to just unpack these nuggets. And I think we need to soon maybe just collaborate and see how the partnership can go in bringing this in our workplaces, because it really affects even how people manage each other and also just interact with one another in these workplaces. Sometimes you're in the workplace, but you're looking for your mom, you know, and
or you're running
nowadays,
away from your mom.
or you are running exactly.
Yeah.
It is quite interesting. And one thing that we have also noticed is because nowadays, in fact, there was a conversation like that the other day where an employee was brought to the office by their mom, and the question was like, that is so odd. And you see now, it is a situation that we really could not explain, but yeah, it is. I think it's affecting how we show up quite a lot in our workplaces. So thank you, Simon, for doing justice in the short time that we've given you. For those who are asking for the presentation, unfortunately, we do not share presentations. We share recordings. So we will share the recording if you don't get it right to the Tara Solutions. However, you can still find it. We will upload it tomorrow on Get It Right to the Tara Solutions YouTube channel. You can review. The reason we don't share is because we want you to review the recording as you review the notes, so that then you can get the context of the speaker when you're listening to that. So Simon, if you can give us a few minutes, we can take a question. There's somebody who's saying, please talk about mother-in-laws. My mother-in-law is quite toxic. She causes so many delays in my marriage progress.
I hear you, and of course, a lot of wounds can come from those moms in love or in law, so to speak. And one of the things I needed to say is, once you realize there's toxicity or there's woundedness or there's all of that, one of the things I usually say, at some point, you've got to reintroduce yourself to your mom or mother-in-law. And so, you know, like I had to do at some point about my own mom, and I love her to bits. I had to tell her, you know what, mom, this is my wife. This is how far you could go. This is what you can do. I had to put a boundary. Because if I don't put a boundary, then all of us are going to hurt each other. So that time comes when you've got to put a boundary, but it's harder for you as a wife, for example, or as a man, to put a boundary on your mother-in-law if your spouse is not helping you. She should be the one leading you in this and saying, these are the boundaries we need to put, or this is how we need to reintroduce ourselves to our mom and say, we have tolerated this, but we can't do this. At some point, once you're above 18, you're an equal with your child or with your mom, with your parent, and you've got to be able, equal in terms of adulthood, not many other things. You're not equals, but in terms of adults, you're both adults, so you can talk through things and say, you know, when you do this, you cross the line. When you do this, you hurt my marriage. When you do this, you do, and you've got to get to that point. Otherwise, you can't deal with this forever, where you keep just complaining and wondering, what will we do? At some point, a conversation needs to happen respectfully, but firmly, and protect yourself. Last example, there's a lady who told me, my mom, every time she calls, she's just quarreling me and calling me names and then asking for money, and I can't live with this. I'm tired. I say, yeah, if you're tired, just tell her that. So I made her call the mom when I was there after coaching her and us talking through it, and called the mom and said, Mom, if you want to talk, I am happy to talk. But if you're calling to quarrel me, an adult, and call me names, please don't call. And if you start doing that, I'll put off the phone, and I'll not take your phone again until you promise me you will not talk to me as if I'm a child. You will talk to me respectfully. And the mom was shocked. And later the mom called and said, wow, you have grown up. Say, yeah, I've grown up, mom. We can't do that again. From that time, she never does that again. And she is ready, if she does that, to put off the phone. So we've got to put some boundaries and protect ourselves and protect our relationships when we are in those toxic, environments.
I totally agree with
I
you.
hope I've answered. Yeah.
Yes, you have. I mean, boundaries is one of the things that we really need to learn as adults. But there's an interesting one here, which comes from the mother. How do you deal with kids who are not ready to leave the house? At 30 years plus, mommy boy cannot look for a job. If you challenge him to hustle, they say you are hard on them and threaten with suicide.
Well, yeah,
Emotional blackmail.
definitely. Yeah, definitely. That is one where the person doesn't want to leave. So there are two aspects to it. Number one is us as parents preparing them to leave, giving them the the functions, teaching them the functions, giving them the skills and abilities to live on their own. I usually say parenting at its best is preparing your children to live well without you. And so prepare them. Once you know you've prepared them, don't entertain them refusing to go and adult. Kick them out or get them to pay rent if they are staying in your house until it's too painful to stay there. But you cannot enable them. When they don't want to grow up, you've got at some point to release them, because if you enable them, then they'll come back to you when they can't sustain a marriage at some point. So yeah, just lay some. I know a friend of mine who had to give a deadline to the child and say, by this time next year, you're going to be out of here. I'm going to give away your room. So if you don't want to leave, it's up to you. But I'm going to give away your room to someone else or to your sister. And they had to grow up in a hurry. So there's tough love. You've got to do that tough love, but make sure you prepare them. If they need some help, tell them another one going to help you, or you will see someone else to walk with you through some of the threats you're having and issues. But here is where you've got to grow up. So prepare them to adult. Make sure they have what it takes for them to live well outside, and then don't give them a chance not to adult, and let them grow up. So tough love.
Yeah, yeah, and there's probably related to that. Must we reconcile if they continue to cause hurt and they don't acknowledge their behavior? This is back to their moms. Must reconciliation happen?
Reconciliation is not a must. It only happens when it's desirable for both parties, when it's going to be useful. But if one party doesn't want to get into it, then you can't force it. And you don't reconcile for more pain. That's why before reconciliation happens, deal with the issues, draw the boundaries, agree on what can happen and should not happen, and then now relate at that adult level, where you say, we already understand what we can do here and what we can't do. If that's okay, then we can relate at that level. If it's not okay, that's fine. See you another time.
And how do you deal with the suicide threats?
I would say it would be good for a third party to get involved when that threat is there. For this reason, sometimes it's a manipulation issue. Sometimes it could be a complex that needs to be dealt with. So I would say put your foot down on where you need to put your foot down, but let the person be seen by someone else to talk through it, just to assess what is going on. Is there a complex? Is there an issue? Or is it just throwing around some manipulative things? But it would be good to have a third party who is not directly involved talk with them, or a counselor talk with them, just to see what's up with that.
Yeah. What is your take on the idea of shame and safe spaces when you say healing never happens in isolation?
Yeah, that's a good one. Of course, we shouldn't shame each other. Shame is one of the very destructive forces. There's a place of telling someone when there is wrong, but not shaming them. And we've got to deal with our own shame that we carry because of what happened. And you can't deal with shame in isolation. In fact, how you recover sometimes from shame is when you have very friends affirm you for who you are and tell you what they see in you, and you begin to break that, heavy yoke of shame around you. And that's how I was saying, we never really heal or get over shame or guilt by ourselves. We need friends who can affirm us, celebrate us, also challenge us, also correct us and say, this is not right. That's not shaming you by being told what is right and what is not right. But our friends get to see these things and begin to say, no, there, Grace, you're just now going on a different route. That's not right on you. You're just beating yourself. You're just shaming yourself. Don't do that. That's not you. That's why you need that safe space of a few friends who can call you out, but also can affirm you and accept you and give you what you never got. A lot of relationships we have is either reparenting relationships, what you didn't get from your mom or from your dad, you get from your friends. And then you grow up as you get it from other people. We reparent each other. We remother or refather one another through those authentic, respectful, but real relationships where we can tell each other the truth without shaming one another and yet without overprotecting each other.
That's true. That's true. And there's an interesting question that has been sent to my email. Somebody saying, how do I get my kids to know that their father is a narcissist?
Wow. That's a strong one. Now, I also don't like the way narcissism is being used these days in a very pedestrian way. I mean, it's a real condition, and there are many other real conditions. But to answer is to say, if you see, of course, those characteristics, narcissistic characteristic in a parent, a co-parent, then what you need to tell the child is not to label the other parent. It's not to say your mom is a narcissist or your father is this and the other. It's actually to talk to them about what some of the characteristics you have seen would impact them negatively, to prepare them to handle those, not to label the person. That doesn't help them in any way. But if you tell them, when your dad does this, don't worry about it. Don't take it badly. He may be dealing with something on his own. So don't take that as if it's you. So talk to them about how to grow themselves in a way that they don't get affected by whatever comes from the other parent, instead of labeling the person and dismissing them. It's still their dad. It's still their mom. And especially when divorce and separation happens, we forget that it's still their dad and they still adore them. Whatever evils you see, they don't see it in that way because they are young. But you can tell them some things that would protect them and enable them to deal with what could have hurt them from the other parent. Does that make sense, Grace?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes, it
So
does.
don't
Yes, it does.
label, don't throw big words at the children about their dad or about their mom. It just really doesn't help them. At that point, you're helping yourself, but don't help yourself at the detriment of the children. Just remember, he may be a bad guy, but he's the father of the children. She may be a crazy woman, but she's the mother of your children. So talk respectfully about them, but prepare the kids then to manage whatever may be coming at them, which is not good.
You're very right. You're very right. I think, and that's what the conversation. I think it's not up to you to tell them that your father is a narcissist. Please stay away. I don't think that is wise. Yeah, I think we're gonna take two more questions so that we can bring this to a close. But we have a question: where does a bonus mom get in, especially when children below 5 years? And then Veronica is saying, how do you deal with a partner who gives silent treatment when something happens and he never wants to own it, even when we discuss about it?
Sorry, I didn't hear the second one. I'm trying to look at it. I can't see it.
This one is on a partner.
Okay.
I don't think this is a partner who is on parenting. How do you deal with a partner? This is on marriage or probably something like that. How do you deal with a partner who gives a silent treatment when something happens and he never wants to own it or even discuss it?
Yeah, that's a good one. Let me start with that. What I always say, when conversation breaks down and communication is not going through between the two of you, then you can't force the other person to listen to you or to hear you. two things can happen. Number one, involve a third party. Just say we need someone else. I mean, I've done that with my wife as well. When we couldn't agree on something and everybody was stuck on their side, and we have another couple that we respect. We told them, sit down and listen to us argue, and then tell us what you're hearing, because we can't hear each other. And they listen, and then they help us, and within a short while we get to resolve it. Because they are third party. They're not interested as and involved in it as we are with our emotions. And so they can hear very objectively and help us. So many times is involve a third party. But another thing I tell people, sometimes you may not be listening yourself. Now, you may not be listening. I know sometimes I just realize, actually, I wasn't listening. I was too busy defending my position. I didn't really hear. And then when I really heard and acknowledged that I had heard and responded like I had heard, then it gave her freedom to listen to me and also hear me. So there are times that has really worked when I realized I wasn't listening. I was too busy defending my position that I never listened. I never heard what she was saying or not saying. And so it's always good to listen and see. And you may hear something, and in response to what you have heard, you may now give the other person the permission to hear you. So those are two approaches to a situation like that. I'm not sure I understood the Bonner's mom.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay.
I think we need
So I
more
was
details
wondering,
along that.
Bonner's mom, is it more than when you're giving bonuses and really spoiling your children, or is it having another mom, or is a bonus to your children? I wasn't too sure I got that. Maybe it's just a term I don't get.
What happens in a scenario where the father is not engaged, then the mother is with someone else, someone different?
Situation where the mother is not engaged. Sorry, I didn't. What happens? The mother is not engaged.
Yes, the mother is not engaged. No, the father. A scenario where the father is not engaged, then the mother has been to someone different. I think this is the case of having, the father is not present to get someone else.
So you get someone else to get to fill the gap, huh? Of course, it depends on how you get that person. You don't want to make the man feel replaced, then you will never really do much. But I always say then don't let the children suffer because they don't have a father figure. They can get a mentor. It could be a mentor in school. I remember my music teacher became like a mentor, father figure to me and really helped me. So it could be in school in that way, or it could be another. We do a program called 412 where we mentor kids, and a lot of kids who don't have a father figure or mother figure, they are brought there and we get to mentor them through the mentors that we have trained, 412 boys and 412 girls. So you can find another mentor, or in church, the youth pastor or someone else, you can tell them, can you walk with my children? Their father is not very involved. You can help them in that way. So in a wise way, you can get someone else involved, but don't replace their parent, because their parent will always be their parent. If there's a way you can motivate and encourage their parent to get involved, please do that as well. So it's not replacing, it's just complementing in a way that doesn't make the man feel replaced.
That's true. And hey, there's this one. My kids hate me because I chased away the father after infidelity. I handled family over 20 years when he was jobless, only to change when he got a job plus a new woman. Could it be due to avoidant, for the above question, could it be due to avoidant attachment? Yeah, that's a question.
All right. I mean, there could be different reasons why that would happen. Of course, however divorce or separation happens, it's going to hurt the children. There's no two ways about it, in one way or another, even when you have over-prepared. Children still get to blame themselves and interpret what is going on in their own limited understanding. They are children. They cannot get it the way you're getting it. When they grow up, they'll understand. But at that point, what they're feeling is, you've chased our dad. What you can do in that way is let them understand to the degree that they can understand that we have had some challenges. You don't have to throw out some things which are too heavy for them to understand, but let them understand. Try and explain to them we have had some challenges between us. We're not able to live together. So dad had to leave. I still want you to have a dad so we can have arrangement on how you relate with your dad. They may still never fully understand until when they grow up, but do your part to answer the questions and be available. I always tell parents in such situations, be available for conversation. And then another thing, involve a third party. I've done that for a lot of kids of divorce and separation, where I got to talk to the children and explain to them what is going on. And they would ask me questions they may not ask their dad or their mom because they're feeling protective. But they can ask me because we don't have a relationship for, in that way. And then I help them understand. So I've stood in for a lot of kids like that. And I can explain, and they can ask me questions without feeling like, oh, I'm being disrespectful to mom or to my parent. So if you can involve a third party, that would be important. So there are different types of attachment. That's why one is referring to the avoidant attachment. So that could be a way of the kids reacting. They just don't want to attach with you because they don't feel safe. They feel like maybe I may attach to you and then you leave like dad left. Those are some of the things that can happen. But conversations, open conversations, and children knowing they can come to you at any time and you're going to answer whatever questions they have, or they have a third party, an uncle or a counselor that they can talk to and ask any question that they feel they can't ask you. Then that helps. Then they're able to help. They are helped to understand what's going on. And even when they can't understand, to feel there was someone who talked through it. Well,
Right,
Grace,
right.
we could talk
Yes,
a lot. There's a lot we can talk, but thank you very much. And really
there's
hope we can continue this. Huh?
yes, we shall definitely. There's quite a number. There's a question on please share your number, or how do we get in touch with you? If you could share that with us, and maybe just give us 1 minute for Richard. Richard.
Thank you very much for that very incisive presentation. And my question is, there's this thing for those who have dived a little bit into psychology and counseling, the Oedipus complex. Is it a real thing? And the second question probably, hurt people hurt other people. Supposing your mom has been hurt, so how do you manage this?
Okay.
She's not aware probably.
Mm. Yeah, she may not be aware, or she may be aware and she doesn't know how to deal with it. So I always say, whether we're dealing with moms or dads, let's be gracious towards them. Realities, things happen. Like when I was struggling with my father wound, I didn't choose it. It's just my father who died when I was 8. And I have struggled as well until I dealt with it to relate closely with my own children. So it's always good to be gracious. It's not a judgment thing, it's an understanding thing. So what we have talked today is more of awareness. Be aware. Be aware of what's going on and then deal with it for you. You can't force your dad or your mom to deal with their own issues. You can encourage them if they're willing to do it, but you can't force them. You can only be very gracious towards them and understand them. So this is not to blame them, it's not to judge them, it's for you to be aware and to deal with you so that you live better. And I hope that, and where you can help them get helped, you can help them. If they're able to understand and be helped, that would be great. But this is not about them, it's first and foremost about you. I hope that helps. So maybe next time, as I talk about the development and those types of moms, I will talk about the Oedipus complex. But we used to be taught about boys get very close. I think in science generally, for those who may not understand the complexity of that, just the simplicity of the issue is that boys get very close, they fall in love with their moms at some point, and they get very close, and it's like they want to marry their mom, and then girls with their dads, and those very deep relationships that happen. Whether they are true. I mean, there's some truth in it in terms of, and I've read that a lot. I have my own reservations, but a lot of it is true. Is the interpretation that differs from one person to another. But it's true that my girls, we have a very close relationship together. Of course, we manage it so that it is not out of control. My son has quite a relationship with the mom. So that happens, that sort of attraction happens at some point. It's not sexual, it's really just, a gender phenomenon that happens. It's more how you deal with it and how you manage it, so that then the son doesn't become mama's boy, and the girls don't become too, deeply engaged with their dad that they cannot even found, they don't want to marry anyone else. And I've seen cases like those. And I have two daughters I love to beat, but I also have to make sure that I release them and have enough distance or boundary to allow them to find their own man at the right time. So, yeah. Thank you, Grace. There's so much we could say. I think I put my phone number there, 0722 60 61 20. And you can also reach me through all socials, Simon Bevy. And the email is there as well. Thank you very much. I really appreciate this platform. And thanks Atara Solutions for the good work you're doing.
Thank you very much, Simon, for choosing to be here. And I saw someone asking, please repeat the YouTube channel. It's Get It Right with Atara Solutions. Paul, I don't know whether you're there. Please post it on the chat. And also share the link to our WhatsApp group. If you're not on our WhatsApp group, kindly join us so that you can get to know what is coming on Get It Right with Atara Solutions in the future. For those who are not able to take questions, we apologize. This one is normally very hot. So it's normally wiser that you ask your question very fast. Because such pertinent issues. But thank you so much for making the time to be here. Please join us.
Grace, maybe as you conclude, let me just say, in case you want any of the books, Power of a Mother, Lessons I Learned from a Mom, or Power of a Father, Dad is Destiny, the difference a father makes. In case you want any of those books, let me know. Thank you.
Certainly. And if you have not been able to take the number, please get in touch with me. I'll be happy to send it right away so that you can get to read these books and get to learn more. And please invite Mr. Simon in your institutions. We need to get it right, even in the workplaces. And we have these people who are managing teams. We have people who are engaging with one another. We have people who are supporting one another. So for us to thrive, we need to thrive both at home and in the workplaces for us to be together. So please invite Mr. Simon to your institutions, and let's keep this conversation going. And somebody is asking, how can I join Atara? There's a link that has been shared there on WhatsApp group. If you can scroll up just a bit, you'll find it. And this recording will be uploaded on our YouTube channel, which is Get It Right with Atara Solutions. Please follow us on Instagram, Atara Solutions. Like our Facebook page, Atara Solutions. Connect with us on LinkedIn at Atara Solutions. And of course, for myself, it's at CHRP Grace Nzula. And for Richard, it's CHRP, Richard J. Magoma. And for Simon is always Simon Bevy. Or you can follow the organizations at Transform Nations on all the social media pages. And please, let's keep this conversation going. Let's go reflect. And let's do better at parenting our children and ourselves. So until next Tuesday, thank you so much for being here. Will you share the recording? Yes, I will post it on the WhatsApp groups, but you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Get It Right with Atara Solutions. And so much grateful for you being here, and have yourselves a lovely night. And we shall see you next Tuesday, same place, same time. as we discuss another topic. We are on a mission to change the world through information. How do I join the WhatsApp group? You just click on the link that was shared, or you can also drop me an email. Hey, let me just reshare that again. Hey. So we demystify issues that affect employers and employees. So that is what we do here on every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Of course, sometimes 9:30. But there you go on the WhatsApp link. And Paul, if you can also be sharing a YouTube channel, so that for those who missed out on fatherhood, we had a lived experience, somebody who went looking for their father in all their relationships, and they share their story on how they found the father and are on the journey to healing into that. So thank you so much, Simon. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much. May God bless you, and may you keep winning and changing lives, one person or one parent or one individual or one child at a time. We appreciate you. Asante sana. And to you, our audience, asanteni sana. Good night.
Good night.